What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, January 15th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. So, last night, the Houthi rebels in Yemen tried attacking an American warship again, and this is coming after 4 rounds of strikes on the Houthis over the last few days, with the biggest, most prominent strike being Thursday night, where hundreds of US and British missiles targeted various Houthi bases and drone and missile factories. So the Houthis again tried to attack the USS Laboon. They fired an anti-ship ballistic missile, and the missile was shot down by an American fighter jet that took off from a land base. And this is the first time that an American fighter jet had to take off from a land base to shoot down one of the missiles fired by the Houthis. And what you're looking at here is the official tweet from U.S. Central Command. It says on January 14th at approximately 4:45 p.m. Yemen time, an anti-ship cruise missile was fired from Iranian-backed Houthi militant areas of Yemen towards USS Laboon, which was operating in the southern Red Sea. The missile was shot down in the vicinity of the coast of Hodeidah by U.S. fighter aircraft. There were no injuries or damage reported. Okay, so U.S. fighter jets are now shooting down these missiles, guys. Okay, cruise missiles, absolutely insane. And we're hearing this morning that the British Defense Minister Grant Shapps said that he was evaluating new options against the Houthis. Okay, so it looks like we may get another round of airstrikes on Yemen this week, guys. And if it happens, I will go live just like I went live on Thursday night for 6 hours covering the situation. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon below so you get notified when I do go live in these events. And we have some breaking news coming in from Israeli News 12. Apparently, Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas all planned a multi-front invasion of Israel. And News 12 is citing a Saudi journalist, but the plan was not executed as the timing of the Hamas assault surprised Iran, and U.S. warnings and large military deployment discouraged Tehran. Okay, so Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran were going to launch a multi-front invasion of Israel, but because the U.S. deployed the aircraft carriers, they deployed 2 aircraft carrier strike groups to the region, okay, as soon as Hamas attacked Israel, and that apparently discouraged them from doing that. This was reported by Israeli News 12. And we have some very concerning information coming in from Germany, and I reported on this last night, but I wanted to update you guys with some more detailed information. So I reported last night that Germany is preparing for a war with Russia, and this was coming from the German magazine Bild, and they obtained some classified documents from the German military. And I also reported last night that Britain is planning to send 20,000 troops to Eastern Europe as part of Steadfast Defender, which is an exercise that NATO is going to start in February, and it's going to last all the way through June. And supposedly that's the largest NATO training exercise since the Cold War, and the largest mobilization of British troops in over 40 years. And now we have these classified documents talking about Germany preparing for a war with Russia and NATO preparing for a war with Russia. So this document is really interesting. Let me read to you what it says here. So the German Ministry of Defense document describes in detail a possible path to conflict between Russia and NATO, culminating in the deployment of hundreds of thousands of alliance soldiers and the inevitable outbreak of war in the summer of 2025. For security reasons, Bild does not cover all information about the number and movement of NATO troops. According to the German document, in February of this year, the Russian Federation will conduct another wave of mobilization and call up an additional 200,000 soldiers. After that, the Russians will launch a spring offensive against Ukraine and push them back by June. Next, in July, Russia will launch overt and covert attacks on the West. In particular, cyber attacks and other forms of hybrid warfare are expected. So what's interesting is this document obtained by Bild, a classified document supposedly, is saying that Russia is going to launch this big counterattack on Ukraine starting in February and lasting all the way through June. And that's the same time that NATO is going to have that massive exercise, which is going to involve 40,000 NATO troops, 20,000 British troops, and it's going to mostly be focused in the Baltics and Poland. Okay? So it's a huge red flag to me. And then this document as well. There will be clashes which Russia will use as a pretext to launch large-scale exercises involving 50,000 soldiers in September on its territory and in Belarus. Further, according to the document, an escalation could occur in October if Russia deploys troops and medium-range missiles to Kaliningrad. They note that when the United States may be left without a leader within weeks after the presidential election, Russia, with the support of Belarus, will repeat the 2014 invasion of Crimea with little green men on NATO territory. Then in January 2025, a special meeting of the NATO Council will be held. In May 2025, according to the document, NATO decides on deterrence measures and on day X deploys 300,000 troops to the eastern flank, including 30,000 German soldiers, to prevent a Russian attack on the Suwalki Gap from Belarus and Kaliningrad. So very interesting, guys. So looks like the timing is going to be later on this year, right after the presidential election, during that transition period when we basically just have a lame duck president. That's when Russia's going to make their move on the Baltics and the Suwalki Gap. They want to make that land bridge to Kaliningrad. So get prepared, guys. Okay, Germany's getting prepared. Britain is getting prepared. We have all these red flags coming out of Europe, guys, okay? A few weeks back, I reported that the Danish defense minister was telling people that they need to start stockpiling emergency supplies in case there's a war with Russia. So this could easily escalate into nuclear war, guys, okay? We could be in the middle of a nuclear war next year, okay? 2025 is the quarter century mark. It could even happen before then, okay? But check out some of my nuclear war survival videos. I'll leave links in the top right corner. I've done an entire series on how to survive nuclear war, and I've done over 50 videos on nuclear war survival. And also on my website, I have a lot of reference information on nuclear war survival, including nuclear war targets in Europe, Canada, and the United States. And Israel destroyed several Hezbollah anti-air systems during the war, ensuring that the Israeli Air Force can operate freely in Lebanese airspace. Army Chief of Staff noted this in his latest speech, hinting that the IDF can take action deep in Lebanon. Okay, so they've destroyed all the radars, all the anti-air systems. Okay, the SAM sites are destroyed, and that enables Israel to fly anywhere inside of Lebanon that they want. And they've said it over and over that they operate inside of Lebanese airspace freely, which means that Lebanon does not have any anti-air systems up. And I'm telling you guys, Israel is going to go after Hezbollah once they're done in southern Gaza. And the IDF spokesman said to Khan News that the retaliation for Hezbollah killing 2 Israeli civilians won't end today. It's going to continue later on. So if you remember yesterday, Israel launched a massive retaliatory strike on southern Lebanon because Hezbollah launched anti-tank guided missiles at some civilian areas. And so the IDF spokesman is saying that that strike yesterday is not the end of it. They're going to do more. Okay, so the situation between Hezbollah and Israel is continuing to escalate. North Korea on Monday claimed it flight tested a new solid fuel intermediate range missile tipped with a hypersonic warhead. The North's official Korean Central News Agency said the launch on Sunday was aimed at verifying the reliability of the missile's solid fuel engines and the maneuverable flight capabilities of the hypersonic warhead. It described the test as a success. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said the missile flew 620 miles before landing in the waters between the Korean Peninsula and Japan. So not a good sign, guys. Okay, North Korea is rapidly modernizing their nuclear arsenal. They're spinning up a second reactor for the purposes of enriching uranium. They've already tested a solid fueled ICBM over the holidays. Okay, it flew like 15,000 kilometers. Now they're testing solid fueled intermediate range missiles that have hypersonic warheads. Okay, very, very concerning, guys. Very concerning. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, they have brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewith.nyprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply is freeze-dried, so it has a 25-year shelf life, and it's all contained within 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So again, use the link preparewith.nyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. It's really a no-brainer. 25-year shelf life. You don't have to worry about your food preps going bad. You don't have to worry about rotating anything. And it's all contained within 6 buckets. So you can find the space to store 6 buckets, guys. And they also have a general store. If you click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewith.nyprepper.com, you can access their general store. And they have all kinds of prepping and survival items for sale. They have MREs, they have survival seeds, they have potassium iodide, they have survival bars. So check it out, preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. And the link is in the description below this video. And the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that Taiwan is an indivisible part of our country and will not become a separate state. It will return to being part of China. Wow, guys. Strong words there from the Chinese Foreign Minister. And by the way, he's going to Russia today, or he might already be there, and he's going to stay there until midweek, where he's going to meet with Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, and who knows what they're going to talk about, but I'm sure they're going to talk about Taiwan and Ukraine and Korea. And Estonia will not expel military conscripted Ukrainians from the country, Prime Minister Kaja Kallas said. According to her, the government discussed the topic of Ukrainian men of mobilization age. When they arrived here, the EU gave them temporary protection, so we will definitely not do anything to extradite them. It is Ukraine's task to reach out to the men here and invite them back to help their homeland. So very interesting turn of events there. A lot of people were expecting Estonia to be the first country that's going to extradite, mobilized Ukrainians that are basically refugees, okay, and send them to Ukraine to fight. And now they're saying they're not going to do it. A Turkish drone attacked a power station in northern Syria that was controlled by the Kurds. So Turkey is really attacking the Kurds hard. And I have no idea why Turkey is still in NATO, guys. We have the nuclear sharing program with them at Incirlik Air Base. We have like 60 B-61 gravity nuclear bombs there. Okay, we should take those out and we should eject Turkey from NATO. Okay, the Kurds are our friends. Okay, they helped us out during the first Gulf War. And for the second day in a row, residents of central Canada have been asked to limit their electricity consumption. The country is registering the strongest frost in 50 years. In the provinces of Alberta and British Columbia, the temperatures have dropped to minus 36 degrees. And speaking of rationing of power, here we have something that a friend of mine sent me. In Omaha, Nebraska, the local power company has put out a notice warning people to minimize their electricity usage, okay? So this is very interesting. It says lower your thermostat by 2 to 4 degrees below your normal temperature. Avoid using appliances like your washer or dryer or dishwasher, especially during the peak usage times of 7 to 9 a.m. and 4 to 7 p.m. Please avoid charging electric vehicles during these time frames as well. Plan for the continuing cold by preparing for the potential of power outages related to weather or other causes over the next several days by ensuring you have a flashlight, warm clothes, and blankets, and any medication you need. So this is crazy, guys, okay? This is a serious situation. We have a very strong Arctic blast coming into the Midwest. We have temperatures across Nebraska and the Dakotas and Montana down to minus 20, okay? And we're not even in a La Nina right now. We're in an El Nino, and during El Ninos, winters are supposed to be warmer, and we're still getting massive Arctic blasts. Imagine if we get a La Nina next winter and we get Arctic blasts like this, you're going to see minus 10, minus 20 in places like New York City, okay? And the president of Iceland put out this tweet about the volcanic eruption, and he wrote up like an entire statement that's like 2 pages long, asking the people of Iceland to stick together, help each other out to survive this volcanic eruption. So it's not good when the president of a country has to put out a statement because of a volcano. Okay, and he compared this volcanic eruption near Grindavik to one of the big eruptions they had 50 years ago. He said that this is the first time in 50 years that a volcano is actually threatening populated areas in Iceland. He said the last time a volcano threatened a populated area was 50 years ago. Okay, so pretty serious situation. And here we have some footage coming out of Ukraine showing an American M1 Abrams tank on the front lines somewhere. You can see it has a woodland camo paint job or olive drab. Actually, yeah, it's woodland camo. Okay, you can see some brown and black colors in there. But it's just so surreal to see American tanks in Ukraine. It's just absolutely insane. And according to Russian sources, Russian air defense shot down their own AWACS plane and a signals intelligence plane over the Sea of Azov. And apparently this was a friendly fire incident. And one of the planes that got shot down was an A-50. And Russia only has a few of those A-50s, and they're worth $350 million, guys. So Russia is shooting down their own planes. Absolutely crazy. So that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on today with more updates. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're getting notifications. And make sure you're getting prepared, okay? We have a lot of things going on. We're only 15 days into 2024, and look at all the chaos going on around the world, okay? Korea, Ukraine, the Middle East. It's just insane, okay? North Korea fired hundreds of artillery shells at South Korea, testing multiple varieties of ballistic missiles, including a hypersonic warhead, and Germany and the UK preparing for war with Russia. Okay, the UK deploying 20,000 troops to Eastern Europe. Okay, this is serious, guys. This is no joke. Okay, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is saying that his primary goal is to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Okay, so it's going to be a crazy year. I think this is just the beginning. Okay, if you think things are intense now, wait until the summertime. Okay, things are really going to get crazy in Ukraine, in the Middle East, in Korea. China may attack Taiwan. That could even happen this week. Okay, China could attack Taiwan even this week before that new president gets sworn in and transitions and everything else. So that's the latest information that I have. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.